And
hello.
Oh, hello. Welcome back to Wizard in the Wild for a Q&A session. Another Q&A session.
Yeah, we've had so many questions, haven't we?
You keep them coming, so we keep on answering them.
We can do these Q&As probably to about February, I think.
I think so, yeah. So hope you're still finding them interesting. We're certainly finding them very interesting. So thank you.
Right, the first one we've got here is from Jill at Madge's Mystery Tour. Jill's a bit cheeky because she's asked 3 questions, but that's okay. So question 1 is, what were your jobs? Well,
shall I go first?
Of course, at our age, there's been a few. I think I've had about 6 jobs in my lifetime. So I'm only going to talk about the latter ones. What about you?
I'll talk about my last job, actually. The job I did before I gave up work was teaching adults with learning disabilities. And it was a job that I really loved. In fact, if my health had permitted it, I'd still be doing the job today. I loved it very much. I worked in a daycare centre. I worked for a college. And eventually I worked for myself, delivering classes in the community. It was a fantastic job. Some of the people I used to teach do subscribe to the channel and catch up. So special shout out for Diane and Jackie, because I know you particularly do keep in touch quite a lot.
Regarding my jobs, the last one I had was... probably initially, it was one of the ones I enjoyed the most, and it was I was the network manager in a school looking after, well, in the end, it was about 2,000 computers and all the servers associated with it. So I managed the network. It got a bit stressful towards the end, is why I sort of retired early, really. But yeah, I really love that job. It did get a bit annoying sometimes when kids would deliberately vandalise some of the computers. One lad had this trick that he'd go around the back of the computer, switch it over to 110 volts, and the poor next person who turned it on, it went bang. They did laugh.
And you didn't?
I didn't, no.
Funnily enough, no.
Jill says, question 2. If money was no object, what motorhome camper would you have? Well, we sort of touched on this in previous videos. We're very happy with Merlin. So probably, in answer to your question, we would have something like Merlin, maybe the same sort of layout, but built better. I'm not going to be too critical of the eldest build, but there are some weaker areas there. So if somebody could build it just as it is, really, but stronger, and with big fat tyres on it, that sort of thing. Yeah,
I think eldest, we're really good with the design side of it. We just love the design and the layout of Merlin. There is nothing we would change about it. It does exactly what we want.
Yeah.
It's things like insulation and weatherproofing and things underneath the van. It's the robustness that I think we improve.
And the longevity of some things. You think that's not going to last forever.
And it's, to be fair, it's more our sort of, the sort of travelling that we do that we would need that for. Yes, it would be hard to beat the layout, though. We haven't actually seen anything that we like as much. The design of it we find is brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is like ours is, as you know, Jill, the CV40. It'd be quite nice if the bed electrically went up into the roof. And that way we could still use it as a lounge area and then just lower the bed. But it's not really practical, and I don't think it's ever going to happen.
No, but could you imagine if it didn't work?
If it didn't work or it went up on its own at night and you were both squashed there. Oh, my God.
That doesn't bear thinking about, does it?
It'd be like if you had your phone with you. You could phone for help, but if your phone was up the front of the van...
I think we'll keep it simple, dear. Keep it simple. We won't have that.
And her question 3 is, what is the best place you have camped and why? Well, that is a terribly difficult question. I think you know that we like the out-of-the-way places best, don't we? In fact, not quite sure when this video is going out, but the one that's going out next Thursday is part of our Yorkshire tour. There is one in there, the next one, that I would put up there in the top 5 where we've ever camped, and it was what I would call a wild camp in the middle of nowhere. And mind you, there were plenty of those on the Outer Hebrides as well.
Yes, which is coming up after Yorkshire.
Yeah.
I think that the Outer Hebrides has actually sort of upped the game somewhat.
I can't really name just one, but I can say in the next video where we stay overnight there, that was right up there as one of my favourites. Hope that answers your questions. Right, question number 2. Well, I suppose this is question number 4, really, isn't it? Because Jill asked 3.
Don't get all technical.
And this is from Cheryl Dyer, who says, how do you dispose your grey waste and empty the toilet when you're constantly wild camping? You never seem to stay on site, so I'm curious.
That's always a question that a lot of people ask, don't they?
I can understand the curiosity of that.
And it's a really important question as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, firstly, let me talk about the toilet. The toilet, we don't really use it as a cassette toilet unless we are going to sites, which is quite rare. What we tend to do now is we use the toilet there as like a bivvy loo. So it's done with bags. I'm not going to go into too much graphic detail.
I don't know if everyone knows what a bivvy loo is. I mean, that's a sort of pop-up toilet, basically, that you put a big bag inside and you do what you do in there and bag it all up. I mean, this is obviously quite helpful to people, but essentially we put a bag in the toilet and put sawdust in it, and then we tie it all up.
Yeah.
And find a bin, like a dog bin, the dog waste bin, to dispose of solids. And as for wees, well, we tend to do them in bottles, don't we? So, so we will pee in a bottle, and then when we find a toilet, we dispose of it that way. And that works really well. But as you say, sometimes we use the toilet cassette, don't we? If we're on a site or we know that we're going to be able to empty the toilet in a few days.
For example, if we're wild camping and we know that tomorrow or the day after we are going to be on a site, then we would use the toilet normally.
We also don't use blue in our toilet because in our cassette, because again that can be really hard to dispose of. We tend to only do peas in there anyway, and I use biological capsules in there so that they can be flushed down a normal toilet. It's only really essentially laundry liquid and pee, so that keeps it nice and simple as well. We did buy a spare cassette, didn't we? We bought a spare cassette which came with a new toilet seat and everything, and cost me about 130 quid. Yeah,
we've never used it.
No, we got a bag to put it in.
Oh yeah, so that was quite another
discreet.
50 quid.
Yeah, and we put it in there for the sole purpose of actually being able to go off grid for longer, didn't we? But as Graham said, we never used it. I much prefer what we do once you get used to it, compared to thinking of a full cassette sloshing about under the bed. You know, it's just me, but I prefer to deal with things as they happen rather than keep them hanging around for days.
It does work well for us. I mean, we've recently come off the back of a 3-week trip to the Outer Hebrides, of which we used one night on a site. So it really tested our resolve technique, whatever you like to call it. And it worked well, didn't it?
It worked incredibly well, yeah. We now know that system is what works for us. Hope that's answered your question.
Well, it hasn't fully, because she says, how do you dispose of the grey waste as well?
Do you want to?
Well, the grey waste, we're lucky with Merlin that he's got a very big tank. It's 90 litres. That only becomes a problem when we've had a shower or something, and obviously it goes into the grey waste tank. So what we would do there, if we are going to a site, obviously we'd save it up and dump it on the site, or we'll find a roadside drain and empty it into that. So that's how we deal with the grey waste. But it doesn't really become a big problem because it's a large capacity tank. And
we're quite frugal with water.
Yeah, you're very careful about what you put down the sink, aren't you?
Absolutely. And
she almost pre-washes the dishes with
I wipe them
with tissue and that first
and stuff. Yeah, that I know that creates waste as well, but it's better for the environment, I think, than putting stuff through the tank. I was going to say something else about that.
Clean.
The other thing is we only ever clean the tank with Coca-Cola, because that's brilliant as a tank cleaner. So that's obviously safe for humans. And the other thing is we only use sort of biodegradable products for showering. It's all stuff like Method, or that's good for the environment, as opposed to really strong cleaning agents and things.
Yeah, so I think we've done that.
If there's anything we haven't covered on this, just ask us another question about it. Hopefully that sort of explains it.
And Cheryl, I'm glad you're getting on well with your trike.
Yes,
because there is a technique to it, isn't there?
Yeah.
Right, put that one there. And we've got a question here from John Hogan 007. Oh, I love that. I love that. 007. He says quite a lot here, but a general question. You've had the hook locks. These are the extra security locks we've fitted to Merlin. You've had your hook locks for some time now, and I was wondering how you're getting on with them on a daily basis. Then he goes on to explain that he's thinking about putting them on a van he's got on order. So he's wondering if we had any problems with them, and was it easy to get into a routine locking the van up, etc. Well, John, I have to say, it's the easiest thing. It's probably the one security thing that I almost always do. Unless we're staying in sight of the van, I won't necessarily lock it up then. But it's so easy to just turn a key, and admittedly you have to do that on all four doors. But it's very easy to do, and we're not under any illusion, because people said to me, well, what's the point in locking the doors with extra locks when people can just break the windows? Yeah, they could, but the security of it is such that if anybody steals Merlin, it's probably because they want to try and resell him. And what thieves wouldn't want to do is create a lot of damage. So I'm hoping that that would be a deterrent to send them on to somebody else's van who hasn't got them.
Yeah, it's just seeing the locks, when you actually see them fitted, it makes it a difficult thing to just quickly lever open the door, get in there and go. You can't do that. You've got to make a fuss.
You've got to make noise.
Make noise, yeah. You've got to climb in through the window, and then you still can't open the doors.
And all the time the thieves are thinking, blimey, if we're going to sell this, I'm going to have to fix that, what I've just damaged. And so hopefully it is a deterrent.
Yeah, and they'd have to somehow prise all the doors off.
And John's referring here to the fact that his is going to be like Fort Knox. I do have a steering lock, and I do have a wheel clamp. I do use the wheel lock a lot, but I don't really use the wheel clamp, do I?
No. I think that's part and parcel with the fact that if you're either while camping or off-grid, you don't really want to put anything on the van that stops you driving it away if you're caught in a dangerous position.
Yeah.
So for us, that's something we really don't use. We'd rather be able to drive off.
We'll just sell that, really. Yeah. Along with our extra toilet cassette.
Anyone wants to buy a wheel clamp or a toilet cassette? Unused. Then just give us a shout, because we'd be happy to talk to you about that.
Security on campervans is always an important and popular subject, with many people having lots of different views. Let us know what you think or do in the comments below.
Right, we're going to end the questions there, but I believe Ellie wants to say something about previous questions, don't you?
Yeah. On a previous question and answer session, in fact, it's been asked by several people about whether or not we plan to do merchandise for Wizard in the Wild. And sort of the short answer at the moment is no, we don't. Although we do have stickers, which I need you to go and get one.
Oh, I'll go and get one. You carry on talking.
I'll carry on chatting while Graham goes to get a sticker. But yes, I've had some really lovely feedback from quite a few of you who have said you'd be interested in purchasing either artwork done by me or merchandise to do with Wizard in the Wild. So basically, we are going to now offer the stickers for sale if you'd like to buy them. They will be £3.50, but that does include postage and packing. And I should say that let's just show them this. There we go, Wizard in the Wild. There, these fine stickers. So £3.50, including postage and packing, and 10% of the profit from selling these will be going to charity. So 5% will be going to Macmillan Cancer Care, and the other 5% will be going to the Dogs Trust. So I don't think anyone who knows me would be surprised about those two charities. Both are incredible charities. So 10% split, so 5% each to those two charities for every sticker that we sell. So get those orders in. And in addition to that, I've made some Christmas cards just to get the ball rolling, start the ball rolling on all of this. So these are all handmade by yours truly. Hand coloured. You're gonna be my glamorous assistant. Hold them up, yeah, because it's hard to see.
Gonna be, I am.
Oh, that question. Do you think Graham is my glamorous assistant? So yes, these cards are all handmade. As you can see, they're individually packed, wrapped, and I propose to sell them for £10 for 5. And I do have to charge £1.50 on top of that for postage and packing. So that would be £11.50 for 5 of these handmade Christmas cards, or £2.50 if you want to buy an individual card, plus £1 postage and packing. And if you buy an individual one, it's probably going to be a bigger one like this. So it's a case of first come, first served. Once they're gone, they're gone. That'll be it. I'm not making any more this side
like
of Christmas. I do, don't I? Once it's gone, these will be in the centre aisle. And also, again, 10%. I would like to give something back. So 10% of the profit on these cards will go to 5% to Macmillan and 5% to the Dogs Trust, so that I can give something back. So you are also supporting a good cause and supporting the channel, because obviously that helps us to run Wizard in the Wild. We are contemplating in the new year possibly doing mugs, aren't we? I think you've started to look into that if people want to buy mugs.
Yeah.
But yes, if you've got any thoughts on it all, just let me know. But yeah. Thank you for all your positive feedback about wanting things like this. So hopefully you'll like them.
And you can pay via PayPal. Did you say that?
I haven't said that. No, you can pay via PayPal. Basically, I think if you're interested in buying the cards, please direct message me on Messenger or contact either of us on Facebook if you wish to buy the cards, and we will talk to you about it. I should also say that for the first 5 people buying Christmas cards, we will include a sticker free. So get your orders in. Buy your stickers and your cards. You know you want to.